Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're automating your stock discovery process, showing you how to use chart lists, scans, and scheduled scans on Stock Charts to find the strongest stocks out there in the market, delivered right to your account every single day across 5 key time frames: all-time highs, new 52-week highs, 9-month, 6-month, and 3-month highs. We're going to set this up from scratch, create those chart lists, create those scans, and schedule them using Stock Charts. And you are going to get a huge workflow boost. This is a time saver. This is an amazing way to find the strongest stocks out there in the market every single day and every single week. So lots to show you on the show today. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into the site, dive into the tools, walk you through the features, and ultimately help you get more value out of Stock Charts. That is our mission here every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, up on that live channel. Also up on our YouTube channel after that and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at Stock Charts. Thrilled to be back with you for another episode that's going to be, as always, a ton of fun. Once again, we're kind of digging into my own approach, digging into my own process on Stock Charts, showcasing some of those tools that I like to use every single day. And I gotta tell you, I got a lot of favorite tools on Stock Charts. I got a lot of things that I love about the platform, but this is quickly becoming one of my favorites to show people. This is a truly amazing, time-saving, revolutionary little process here that we're going to set up. And it is my favorite way to find new stocks to go out there and trade across a couple of different time frames, as you're going to see. So what we're going to do on the show today, like we mentioned in the open, we're going to combine a couple of different key tools: chart lists, scans, and then scheduled scans. We're going to put those 3 together, and what you're going to end up with is an automated process that takes those scans that we're going to create. We're going to find those stocks making new highs across a couple of different time frames, and every single day, because those scans are going to get scheduled in your account, they're going to run in the background automatically for you, and they're going to dump the results right into some chart lists in your account. You're going to get an email with those results, but you're also going to be able to log into your Stock Charts account every single day and get a list right in your own account with your own charts, with your own settings and custom indicators and all of that stuff. Right there in your own account, you're going to get a list of stocks making new highs. Now, if you're playing the long side, I would say this is the absolute best starting place for finding new trade candidates. Stocks making new highs. It doesn't get much stronger than that. This is going to be totally automated. You're not going to have to do any work other than looking at those charts, reviewing those symbols after we get these scans scheduled into your account. So very, very cool. As you're going to see, I do this in my own account across these same time frames, across different groups. I've got other ways of doing it as well, but we're going to set it up from scratch on the show today. Now, we are going to fly here, so it's going to be a lot in a short period of time, but you'll be able to follow along, see these steps, and set it up in your own account as well. We are also going to do this in Sharp Charts. We're not going to do this in ACP, but rest assured, the whole process that we're going to walk through on the show today, you can do this in ACP as well. All you've got to do is create those chart lists in ACP, in that advanced charting platform, and then you can create these scans and you can schedule them to save right into those ACP lists as well. So we're going to do it in Sharp Charts today, but ACP users, you can do the exact same thing. So without further ado, I say we jump over to the site, get this automated scanning process going. Let's do it. All right, everyone. So here on the members dashboard, of course, the heart and soul of your Stock Charts account, it's a fantastic place to start because it gives us quick access to our chart list, also lets us create chart lists right from here. That's actually going to be our first stop. We can also access the scan workbench from here and the scheduled scan tools as well. It kind of all comes together here on the dashboard. By the way, look at that day flyer of a market we got here. What a market. Anyways, we are going to click that chart list button and we're going to scroll down to the chart list panel here on the dashboard. Now, this is actually a great place to stop and say, if you are an ACP user, you can click over to that ACP list and view your ACP chart list right here on the dashboard as well. And you can use this little new button up in the top right corner to create your lists. You can do the same thing for Sharp Charts. If you toggle over to Sharp Charts there in the panel, you can use that new button to actually create lists right from here. So let's walk through this really quickly. Our first stop on the tour today is going to be to create some different chart lists. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to create 5 scans for stocks making new highs across 5 different time frames, 5 different kind of criteria. So we're going to schedule those 5 scans 5 times and save those results into 5 chart lists. We're going to create a chart list that corresponds with each scan that we're going to end up scheduling. What that's going to do is run that scan automatically for us and then save those results into these lists that we're going to create. So first and foremost, we got to create our chart lists. To do this, like I mentioned, you have that little new button right here. So select your list type and then hit that new button. It's going to pop up and allow you to create those chart lists. Now you can add symbols from here, but in this case, we're actually going to leave these blank. Now I'm going to add a little star to the front of them so they show up at the top of the list. That's just going to make the show a little bit easier. But the other thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to sort of narrow down to just S&P 1500 stocks. So what I'm going to do, you'll see this in just a minute. I'm going to name these S&P 1500, and then we're going to do our 5 different time frames. We'll do new all-time highs, and we'll end that with a little star. So that's going to be sort of our chart list naming convention. I'm actually going to copy that so that we can type this in a little bit quicker. So we're going to create that list. We're going to leave it blank. It's going to send us over to the edit page, and we are going to repeat that process. We'll actually jump up here, hit chart lists again, and we're going to repeat that process. And the next one up is going to be 52-week highs. So we're going to do this process 5 times. We're going to create these 5 different chart lists in our account. Now, to save us a little bit of time, I'm going to create those and we'll be back here in just a second. You'll see all of these in our account. So here we are now. We've created those 5 chart lists. And as you can see, we've got S&P 1500 all-time highs. We've got new 52-week highs, 9-month highs, 6-month highs, and 3-month highs. Those are our 5 empty chart lists now in our account, ready to accept those scan results once we get those scheduled. So that's going to be our first stop. We're doing, again, S&P 1500 stocks across these 5 different time frames. So once we've created those 5 lists, we can then dive into our 5 scans. So we're actually just going to scroll up here and we are going to look at this scans panel. We're going to jump over to, we'll kind of cheat this a little bit actually. We're going to jump over to a scan that's already been created. You can see this in my own account. S&P 1500 new all-time highs. So let's take a look at that scan and we'll talk about how to write it. So we're going to start with the all-time high scan. Again, we're looking for S&P 1500 stocks. Now, if you're not familiar with the scan engine, don't worry. We're actually going to give you this scan syntax so you'll be able to create these scans in your own account without writing a single bit of kind of scanning language code. But I do want to kind of walk through how easy, how simple these scans are. First up, we're going to talk about our S&P 1500 group. The S&P 1500, which is what I like to focus on personally, is a combination of the S&P 500 large caps, 400 mid caps, and small caps with the S&P 600. So to create that group, what we're going to do is actually type in a bracket, and then we're going to do group is S&P 500, or group is S&P 400, or group is S&P 600. All of those 3 different groups are going to be wrapped in one bracket, and that's going to be separated by those ors. So what this is going to do is tell the scan engine, I'm only going to look for stocks that are in the S&P 500 or in the S&P 400 or in the S&P 600. Now, if you want to add any of these groups to a scan, you can also scroll down to the scan components area and actually look for some of these different menus. So if you come in here to indexes and ETFs, you'll actually find those menus in here. So if you wanted to add, for instance, the S&P 500, you can select that from that menu, hit add, and you'll see that that actually populates right in there for you. So first up, we're going to create our S&P 1500 group. Again, that's the one that I personally like to scan for. Kind of keeps me focused on a manageable universe of stocks. And next up, we're going to add our criteria for all-time high. Now, once again, the logic for this is actually pretty simple when we walk through it. So our next level down after that S&P 1500 group, our next criteria, we're going to start that off with an and, because we want to tell the scan engine, this is our sort of first filter, the things in this first set of brackets. And we want S&P 1500 stocks, and we want those to match this criteria. So we're going to do and then another open close bracket. And once again, we can actually put this up on one line to make that a little bit cleaner. What we're going to do is close equals all-time high, or the high of the day is an all-time high. So this is going to return all of the S&P 1500 stocks that have either closed at an all-time high, their latest price is an all-time high, or the high of the day is an all-time high. So that is going to include intraday highs, hitting an all-time high at an intraday point. So this is our scan for new all-time highs in the S&P 1500. Once again, if we do want to write this ourselves, sort of from the scan engine here, you can actually use these builders and select these different components. We've got predefined scans in here for you. So if you wanted something like a new 52-week high, it's really, really easy to find that right in some of these menus. We're going to make it even easier in just a couple of minutes, though. I'm going to show you one of the other resources around the site that you can use to actually get these scans, like I mentioned. So we've created our 5 chart lists. Now we're starting to create those 5 scans. Again, we're starting with that new all-time high scan. This is what that looks like. So once we create that, we give it a name. We're going to actually hit save and save that scan to our account. Now we're going to repeat that process for 52-week highs, 9-month, 6-month, and 3-month highs. The all-time high scan is a little bit different because that has its own kind of complex criteria here with all-time high as a specific factor. So let's jump now to something like new 52-week highs. We can take a look at what that scan looks like. So again, I've kind of cheated a little bit by saving these into my own account just to save us time, but you can see exactly what these scans look like. So our second scan that we're going to want to create is, again, new 52-week highs, those S&P 1500 stocks. So the starter for this scan is going to be the exact same. We've got our group is 500, 400, or 600. That's going to be our first criteria. We jump down to the next line and we start that off with an and then we've got our open and close brackets. And here we can actually kind of walk through this. I know it looks a little bit intimidating, but if we just kind of read it as a sentence, it starts to make a little bit of sense. On a daily time frame, the high of today has to be greater than yesterday's daily high over the last 253 days. That's what this criteria says. So again, if we're looking for new 52-week highs, there are about 252, 253 trading days in a year. So we can say, is the high of today greater than the high of the last 253 days? That's what this criteria is saying. So that's how that looks. And once again, if you don't want to write that yourself, you've got one option right here. You can come down to that predefined scans area, hit add, and as you can see, that's actually going to drop that right into there. You can see that same criteria pretty much matches. I do have daily instead of today, but pretty much the exact same criteria. So that scan component section can be very, very helpful to actually write these scans. But our second scan that we're going to do is these new 52-week highs. Again, we've got our S&P 1500 criteria up top, and then we've got our 52-week highs criteria second line down. Once again, once we've written that, we're going to set a name for it. We're going to hit save, and we are moving on. Now, our 9-month, 6-month, and 3-month highs, those scans are going to basically be a derivative of the 52-week high. So if we break down, again, 52-week highs, 12-month highs is basically the exact same thing. So if we want to create, for instance, a 3-month high scan, that's going to be 1/4 of that 12-month high scan, 3 being 1/4 of 12. So we're going to take 252, 253, we're going to divide it by 4. That's going to create the number that we plug in here for our 3-month high scan. We're going to do the same thing for 6 and 9 months. So those numbers are 252, 253, 189, 126, and 63. That's what we're going to use to create these next highs, new scans for different levels. So if we jump in, again, I've created these in my own account. If we jump into our 9-month high scan, we'll actually pull out this criteria down at the bottom. That's kind of filtering out the ones that are also making a new 52-week high. In this case, we can see our 9-month high scan is going to look like this. Once again, we've got our S&P 1500 criteria up top, and then we jump down to that line. The criteria looks exactly the same as those 52-week highs we're looking for. Today's high is greater than yesterday's daily high over the last N periods. In this case, when we're building our 9-month high scan, that's going to be 189 days instead of 252, 253. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to save this as our 9-month high. When we want to create our 6-month high, we're going to change that number to be 126. That is going to be a 6-month high. And when we do our 3-month high, we're going to change that to be 63. So all you have to do to create these scans is basically take one set of criteria and then change that little number in there. We're going to save all of those to our account, and then we're going to have those 5 scans saved to our account for those scans at different time frames. Now, in this case, my account has a ton of different scans in it, but you can see we've got those different S&P 1500 scans in this menu. Here's our all-time highs. We've got our new 52-week highs right here. We've got 9-month, 6-month, and 3-month highs. So you should end up with a block that looks pretty similar to this. You're going to want those 5 scans saved right into your own account for those 5 different time frames. And again, because I'm scanning for specifically stocks in the S&P 1500, I like to also kind of put that in the scan name so I know what that scan is actually kind of looking at, what kind of group. So that's how these scans actually look. That's kind of the process for creating them and saving them here on the workbench. Again, you can use that predefined scan section down at the bottom, some of those different group menus in the scan components area to create those scans. But one of the other great resources that I want to show you really quickly is our sample scan library. So we're going to jump over to our charts and tools page. For those of you who are saying, man, those scans look a little bit complex, I don't know if I can really write that myself. Well, no worries, no need to panic. We're going to jump over to that charts and tools page, and we are going to scroll down. This is a great directory of all the different features and tools, all the things that you have access to on StockCharts. Under the member tools area, you can see a card called Sample Scan Library, similar to our sample chart gallery, a great place to go to find charts that you might want to start using in your own account. We've got the same concept for scans. So we can give this a click. And as you can see here in the sample scan library, we've got a ton of pre-built scans that you can actually either run as is or edit and start to save into your own account, customize and save. So this is going to kind of line up with our predefined scans page, but as you can see, we've separated this into different groups. We've got bullish and bearish scans based on specific technical indicators. For instance, there is our new 52-week highs scan. If you wanted to run that as is or start to edit that, you can actually just click that edit button or click that run button to start using that scan without having to write any syntax. We've done the same for candlestick patterns, and we've got bullish reversal patterns, bearish reversal patterns, all of that good stuff. P&F patterns on here as well. But down at the bottom, what we've actually done is added those scans from my account that we were just taking a look at. So once again, like I said, if you don't want to write these scans yourself, you can actually jump over here to our sample scan library, and you can basically steal that scan code and save it right to your own account from here. So for instance, if you wanted that all-time high scan in the S&P 1500, all you got to do is look for that on this page. It's actually got my name right next to it to make it nice and easy. Hit edit. And you can see that this is going to put all of that scan syntax right into the workbench. You can actually hit reformat to kind of clean that up, makes it nice and easy to see. But all of that criteria is right there for you. From there, all you have to do is hit save as and enter a name, save that right to your account. You don't have to run any of that or write any of that custom scan syntax. So you can do the exact same thing for new 52-week highs. Here's that new 52-week highs scan that we were just looking at. You can see that daily high above yesterday over the last 253 periods right in there for you. You don't have to worry about writing any of that syntax. Just use the sample scan library to grab it. And so we've done the exact same thing for new 9-month highs in the S&P 1500 and new 3-month highs in the S&P 1500. And I think we've got new 6-month highs on here somewhere, or we might need to go in and add that one. So anyways, the sample scan library, a nice easy place to go and grab some of those scans. So we're going to jump back over to our dashboard. We're going to scroll down. We're going to hit that scans button, scroll down to our account. Once again, you should end up with these 5 scans saved into your account for those different time frames that we're looking at. All-time highs, 52-week highs, 9-month, 6-month, and 3-month highs. You should be able to see those in that scan menu. So once we've created our 5 chart lists and we've created our 5 scans, next thing we're going to do is schedule those scans to run automatically for us. So we're not going to have to come in here every single day and run these manually. We're going to schedule these to run automatically at a specific time. When those run, we're going to get an email and the results are going to be saved right into these 5 chart lists that we have created in our account. So to do that, we can hit this little more button and we can look for the scheduled scans link in that menu. We can also jump up to the top of this page, and if we're in that member tools area, you can see that the 3rd entry down is scheduled scans. So we can jump over to that page now. You can also actually, if you're on the scan workbench like we were before, you can look for the scheduled scans tab at the top there. That's a nice easy way to get to the scheduled scan workbench as well. So again, scheduling these scans to run lets you take a saved scan from your account and just schedule that so that we run it for you at a specific time automatically. Really, really easy to set these up. We're going to do this for our 5 different scans. We're going to come in here, we're going to select those different scans that we've created, starting with our all-time highs. We're going to set our timing. Now, I personally like to use the US market close. I like to get things that have sort of finished the day off at those new highs. So I like to set that to be US market close. If you want them to be right at the open though, you do have that option. And even if you want to get a little bit trickier, you can set specific times, especially if you're doing this with cryptocurrencies. If that's your group of choice, for instance, you can actually get pretty tricky and set some custom times in here. Let's assume that we want to do US market close. We can select that from the menu. And then we actually set our run days. So once again, if you're trading cryptocurrencies, you might want these to run on Saturdays and Sundays as well. If you're doing kind of weekly scans, maybe you only want these to run on Friday. You've got a lot of different options in here. Personally, since I'm doing this every single day, I like to keep this on the weekdays. That's kind of the most common. So we're going to set our run days. And then our final step is going to be to select our save method. So we can save these into a new chart list if we want to sort of add chart lists to our account every day that we have to go in and clear out. We can merge these into existing chart lists, or we can replace the contents of existing chart lists. We've got a couple of different options. Now, in this case, if we're going to go in here and we're going to be diligent about reviewing these results every single day, the replace option might be a good one. What that's going to end up doing when we select replace existing chart list, we can then open up our chart lists menu, and you see we've got those 5 chart lists that we created right at the top here. That's why we did that little starring system. So we can select a specific chart list from our account, in this case our S&P 1500 all-time highs. That's going to line up perfectly with our scan. And if we replace the contents of that, then every single day, this chart list automatically will get updated with the S&P 1500 stocks making new all-time highs that day. Automated right there for you, saved into your account, and you'll also get an email with those results. The other option that you do have, which is actually one that I use quite a bit, is the merge into option. So if this is what you select, what it's going to do every day when this scan runs, it's going to take those results and it's going to say, are these results in this chart list already? If they're not, it'll add them. If they are, it'll just ignore those results so that we don't have any duplicates. So I like to actually use this merge function, and I set up these chart lists, set up these scans, they get scheduled, they run every single day, and I merge them into those chart lists. What that does is every single day after the close, those scans get run, they get built up in those chart lists, and by the time I get to Friday, by the time I get to the weekend, I've got chart lists in my account full of all the stocks that have hit these specific criteria at some point during the week. So it kind of builds up for me, and then I can go over the weekend, review those strong stocks, find the ones that I want to target for the following week, and sort of get that process going. Now, if you want to do it every single day, that works too, if you want to use that replace option, or you can use this merge option to kind of build up these lists throughout the week. I find that it is a really nice way to kind of end up with these populated lists at the end of the week that you can go in and review. Now, even if you're using that merge option, you can also still go in and review those results during the week. That's something that I do as well. So I'll go in there and kind of clear out those lists and review what's come in. But if I don't have a chance to go in on one day, or Monday, Tuesday get kind of busy, those lists will still kind of grow. And so by the time I go in on Wednesday, they haven't sort of stepped on each other and cleared out the results. So I like to use the merge function. I make sure that I clear all those lists out every week, but it's a great way to get those results automatically saved into your account. So in this case, we're going to hit schedule, and that's going to save that scheduled scan right to our account. We would then do the exact same thing another 4 times. We would come in here and we would select our new 52-week highs scan. We would set our timing. We would set whether we want it to merge or replace into that list. And then we would come up here and pair those up. So we've got new 52-week highs in our list name. We got new 52-week highs in our scan name. So we kind of pair those up. We're going to do that across the board for all of those 5 scans and those 5 chart lists. Now, these get reflected down here, so you can actually see all of these scheduled scans that I have in my own account. And you can see that this is exactly what I'm doing. For instance, here's my S&P 1500 all-time highs merging into that all-time highs list. Here's new 52-week highs merging into the new 52-week highs list. We've got different things like ETFs. I'm looking for ETFs making new 52-week highs and ETFs making new 6-month highs, and I've done the exact same thing here. So you can see that I do these with different groups. Here's the Dow, here's the NASDAQ 100 making new all-time highs. All of these are scheduled, they run automatically, and the results are dropped right into my account. Now, in this case, we can actually hit that Your Chart List button. If I scroll you down into my active account, my own account, you can see that I've gone in here and actually cleared these out. But by the time we get to the close today, those scans are going to run and these lists are going to fill up, and I'm going to have some results to review. But here are all of the sort of scheduled scan lists in my account. So every day, these get filled in automatically with some of the strongest stocks out there, making those new highs, stocks that fit that specific criteria. And I can go in and quickly and easily review that. I don't have to worry about running scans on my own. It's nice and clean, nice and quick, very efficient. And I get those results in a beautiful little email format right to my phone or to my laptop. So it is very, very helpful. It's a great way to find those strong stocks automatically in your own account. So that is our show for today. Hopefully you've had some fun with me looking over my shoulder, kind of digging into some of my own process. Again, I love to scan for S&P 1500 stocks specifically. I like to kind of keep my universe a little bit more focused. If I open it up to everything, it gets a little bit trickier. So I intentionally like to limit my universe, make it a little bit more manageable. And I like to find those stocks making new highs. Ultimately, if you want to buy strong stocks, find those stocks that are going to continue their way higher. The best way to do it is find the ones that are already making new highs. As technicians, we like to find those breakouts. We like to buy high and sell higher. And this is how you do it. Automatically, you get those lists of stocks making those new highs right into your account. It's a beautiful and efficient process. You can do this as a StockCharts member. So remember, if you're not a StockCharts member, great reason to sign up. You get access to these premium tools that can really streamline and enhance and totally supercharge your trading. I simply can't imagine trading without tools like this. So definitely sign up if you are not a member. I want to thank you again for joining us on the show today. It's been great to be with you. We'll be back next week with another episode of our product focus show here on the channel, digging into tools, diving into features, helping you get more value out of StockCharts. That's our mission here every Friday. So I will see you again very soon for the next one. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts. It's been great to be with you. I'll see you soon. Until then, chart on, my friends.